You gave him pain-reducing chemicals? Dr. Lumen Cryos's high-pitched voice echoed through the emergency bay of the alien hospital vessel, Nexus 9, his bioluminescent exoskeleton flickering with alarm. The human paramedic, Lila, shrugged nonchalantly, her eyes never leaving the unconscious form of Chris Martiness on the medical bed. "Oh, no, no," she said calmly. "We didn't give him anything. That's just good old-fashioned adrenaline talking." The Nexus 9 was a gleaming bastion of intergalactic medical expertise, floating serenely through the vast expanse of Sector 927. It was a place where beings from a myriad of star systems came to heal, to learn, and occasionally to face the bizarre consequences of their own heroics. Today was no exception. Chris Martiness, a maintenance technician on the human freighter Prospero, had been rushed in with a piece of maintenance drone lodged in his torso. The drone's gleaming metal arm protruded from the side of his rib cage like a twisted piece of modern art, a stark contrast to the blood and torn fabric that surrounded it. The human's eyes were wide with shock, but his breathing remained steady, a testament to the power of adrenaline. "How is he still conscious?" Dr. Lumen asked, his mandibles moving with precision as he took in the scene before him. The veins in his large black eyes pulsed with a soft blue light, a sign of his intense focus. "Adrenaline," Lila replied, her voice a model of calm professionalism. "He'll be fine for now. We've got to get him to surgery before it wears off, though." The veteran doctor looked horrified. "You mean you brought him here with no pain relief?" His 6 slender limbs quivered slightly, the tips of his exoskeleton spikes tapping out a rhythm of concern against the gleaming medical bay floor. "It's the human way. It's how we monitor his condition without any device," Lila said with a shrug. "Besides, he's already have adrenaline. Better to get the job done quick." The emergency bay bustled with activity as a team of multi-limbed medical drones and a couple of the ship's own staff worked to stabilize Chris. The drone's arm had been clamped down to prevent any further damage, and a soft beeping from the medical equipment was the only sound that pierced the tense silence. "But the pain!" Dr. Lumen protested, his bioluminescent exoskeleton shifting through shades of purple and blue. Surely he must be in agony. Lila's expression was one of mild surprise. "Humans are strange," she said, "but incredibly tough. Adrenaline does amazing things to us. It gives us more strength and suppress the pain in the same time. Although it's not permanent, it will active for about an hour, and when it wear off, all the pain will come. You'll see." Chris's eyes fluttered open, and he tried to sit up, only to be held down by the firm grip of a medical drone. "Don't worry, Doc," he murmured through gritted teeth. "I'm good. Just gotta save that little girl." The veteran doctor's concern grew. "What happened?" Lila sighed, running a hand through her hair. "The drone malfunctioned during a routine check. It charged through the crew quarters like a crazed bull. Chris jumped in to stop it before it could hit a passenger, a young girl. And it stabbed him instead," Dr. Lumen finished, his voice filled with a mix of admiration and horror. "Yeah," she said. "It's not every day you see someone take one for the team like that." Chris managed a weak smile. "Worth it," he murmured, his voice strained. The veteran doctor's eyes narrowed in determination. "We must operate immediately," he said, his voice firm. "We cannot risk his condition deteriorating when the adrenaline wears off." With a nod from Lila, the medical team swung into action. Dr. Lumen's graceful limbs danced around the bed, his mind racing through the surgical procedures he'd studied during his interspecies medical training. The drone's arm was carefully extracted, and the surgery to repair the damage began. The hours passed in a blur of lights and alien medical technology. Chris's pain-filled screams pierced the air once the anesthetic began to wear off. His body no longer flooded with the pain-numbing hormones. Dr. Lumen and his team worked tirelessly, their movements a symphony of precision and compassion. Lila nodded, her gaze softening as she regarded the unconscious hero. "We'll make sure he gets the best care," she said. "Thank you, Dr. Kraus." The alien doctor turned to her, his eyes shimmering. "It is what we do here on the Nexus 9, he said. "We heal the heroes of the stars." The story of Chris the Unyielding had spread through the ship like wildfire. His bravery was the talk of the decks, inspiring tales of valor and sacrifice. As he lay in the hospital bay, surrounded by the gentle hum of machines and the soft whispers of his caretakers, Chris drifted in and out of sleep, dreaming of the little girl's smile and the cold embrace of the void. Days turned into weeks, and the pain grew more manageable as his body began to knit itself back together. The veteran doctor visited him daily, his glowing form a beacon of reassurance in the sterile environment. Dr. Lumen was fascinated by the human's resilience, his ability to endure pain that would render most beings incapacitated. During one visit, Dr. Lumen spoke of his own people, the Vectron, and their history of peaceful exploration. "We have no need for such violent heroics," he said wistfully. Chris chuckled, wincing as the movement sent a jolt through his chest. "Sometimes you don't get to choose when you're a hero," he said. "You just do what you gotta do." The alien doctor's gaze grew thoughtful. "Perhaps that is the most heroic thing of all," he murmured. "To act without thought for one's own safety, driven only by the need to protect others." The recovery was long and arduous, but Chris was not one to be kept down. His spirit remained as bright as the day he'd been brought in, and it was infectious. The hospital staff found themselves drawn to his bedside, eager to hear tales of his adventures in the stars. One day, as he was taking his first tentative steps around the bay, a young Vectron nurse named Vara approached him. Her exoskeleton shimmered with curiosity. "Your kind," she said, her voice tentative, "are so passionate, so driven. What is it that makes humans such heroes?" Chris shrugged, his smile gentle. "I'm no hero," he said. "Just a guy doing his job." "But you saved a life," she insisted. "That is heroism." He thought for a moment before replying, "Maybe we're all just trying to leave our mark, you know? To make a difference before we go." Chris's story didn't end with his discharge from the Nexus 9. It grew, expanded, became a legend that traveled from ship to ship, system to system. His act of courage had not only earned him the respect of his own kind, but had also bridged the gap between humans and Vectrons. On the day of his departure, the hospital was filled with beings from all walks of life, come to wish him well. Dr. Lumen stood at the forefront, his exoskeleton shifting through a pattern of respectful blues. "You have shown us what it truly means to be a hero," he said, his voice carrying the weight of his newfound admiration. Chris looked out at the assembly, his chest swelling with pride. "I just did what anyone would do," he said, his eyes sweeping over the crowd. "But if it helps you all to think of me as some kind of hero, then I'll wear that title with honor." And so, in the grand tapestry of cosmic tales, the story of the human with the heart of a lion and the alien doctor with a gentle touch became a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of friendship and sacrifice in the face of the unknown. And as for Chris, he went back to his job, back to the Prospero, with a new lease on life and a newfound appreciation for the fragility of existence. The drone arm removed leave a scar on his torso, a constant reminder of his brush with death. But it was also a symbol of his strength, a beacon of hope that shone through the darkness of space.